My name is Christina Munoz and I live in Woodend, which is about an hour's drive outside of Melbourne in Australia. And firstly, I just want to say thank you to David Wood and David Sharp for making the Empower Network even available. I'll be brutally honest, when I first got started on March 30th, 2012, and I paid my $25 for the blogging package and the training, I had absolutely no idea that the Empower Network was about to change my life in ways that I never ever expected in just a few short months. And in fact, in only a few short months, literally my first 3 months with Empower, I earned over $33,051. And I also created over $6,000 in residual income. And I can barely believe it. I can barely believe it. And the reason why I can barely believe it, and it's not the money, okay, because let's face it, we've got heaps of people making far more than me in Empower at the moment. The reason why I can barely believe it, okay, is I was able to make over $10,000 a month since joining on average, okay, literally lying on my tummy or lying flat in bed using a laptop table because I have damaged discs and unfortunately a severely damaged sciatic nerve, which runs all the way down my right leg. And so what that actually means is I can't sit or stand or walk for extended periods of time, okay? If I try and sit or stand or walk for more than 5 minutes often, what will happen is my nerve will send a signal to my brain to shut my legs down, okay? And then I literally collapse wherever I am in absolute agony, and then the paramedics have to come to send me off to the doctors to get a morphine injection to start to settle it down. And on top of that, I live with 24/7 nerve pain. Even now, look, I'm sitting here recording this, and my leg is radiating away, okay? However, I'm lucky. I take literally a cocktail of drugs every day, like a whole cocktail. I never thought in my life I would ever have to do that, but I do. And that's the only reason why I'm able to get out of bed at all. And at least for a few hours in the morning from between 10 till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that keeps the pain at a tolerable level. It just sort of radiates and radiates. But what happens is any movement irritates the nerve. I mean any movement. So just over the day, okay, the pain starts to get to a level that I can't tolerate it. So what I usually do is I worked literally lying on my tummy using my laptop. Where my nerve couldn't take that anymore, I'd then move to bed and use my laptop. And when I was having a not so good day, I would literally just lie flat on my back in bed, use my laptop, table, and some days I wouldn't be able to work at all. So for me to be able to earn over $33,000 my first few months, when this time last year, okay, things could not have been more different. This time last year, I was still recovering from surgery. I had surgery in May. I had damaged my sciatic nerve in January, literally moving to this new house we bought here in Woodend, closer to town. I packed my books, and I shouldn't have packed my books. I should have known better because I've had bad back for a long time, but I did. I packed my books. It's funny how simple things can change your life forever. Well, that happened then, and, you know, all of a sudden I couldn't work, you know. And how I even got into the industry was back in 2000, I first injured my back and damaged all my discs. And I found myself a year later not able to work anymore, not able to do my job. Literally, I'd failed 10 failed attempts to return to work. I had, you know, rehab, absolutely everything. But a year after I first damaged all my lower discs, I ended up finding myself having to apply for sickness benefits. And I was 34 years old at the time, and I didn't want to be on sickness benefits for the rest of my life. At that time, my partner and I were living in Newport, a town in Melbourne, in a little 2-bedroom unit. And, you know, we had dreams. We wanted to move to the country where we live now, in fact. We wanted to have children, which we do now. And that wasn't going to happen if I was only earning $300 a month. And just one income coming into the family wasn't enough. So what happened was in August 2001, I then joined an old school MLM company. It was about a 20-year-old company at the time to find a way to be able to work from home. And I was really lucky in those days because even though I had damaged discs, and even with that first business, I literally built that from a mattress on the floor for 5 years, in and out of acute pain because of the stress. I had to work like 12, 14-hour days, sometimes even 16-hour days. But the beautiful thing was I would get relief lying down. So as long as I could lie flat on my tummy, even if it was acute, if I tried to stand, I'd get shooting pains. But if I just lay down on my tummy, I could work, and I didn't have to be on a cocktail of drugs every day. So I was able to literally go from sickness benefits to earning 6 figures with my first company within 3-4 years. And that changed my life. That enabled us to move to Woodend. We now have children, and after about the 5-year mark, I decided to retire, because the reality is, yes, the 3 to 5 year plan works. If you, with most MLMs, if you do it, you can change your life doing that. However, the reality is, if you wish to sustain the income, okay, and at the time, at the 5-year mark, my business was turning over $2 million a year in sales, okay. I wasn't earning that. Oh my, okay, here with Empower, if in 5 years' time your Empower business is turning over $2 million a year in sales, you get to keep it. That makes it a completely different ballgame, okay. But there, you know, you get paid itty-bitty commissions. I still earned very decent money, not complaining. I'm just having a bit of fun here. But what happened was I didn't want to keep working 12, 14-hour days. You know, we were ready to have children, and I wanted my kids to know me, and I wanted my partner to know me, and so on. So I then sort of retired and moved on to doing less stressful ways of earning an income online. So, you know, I would find I'd have to change programs every 6 months or 9 months, if I was lucky, every 12 months. But pretty much, you know, for years, up until January 2011, I was still able to support my family from my online business really, really well, you know. And I never ever thought that would change. I never ever thought in a million years my back would affect my ability to work. But then when we moved into our new home closer to town here in Woodend last January, because I made a silly decision and decided to pack some boxes of my books because I didn't want anybody else to pack them, I ended up prolapsing my disc and compressing my nerves. And then last year in May, even though I had surgery and the surgeon was able to get the nerves out, it was so jammed in, he told me, and so red and angry. He told me there was going to be like an 80% chance of nerve damage. And that's exactly what happened. You know, this time last year, it's now July 2012, well, this time last year, I was freaking out. There's no other word for it. You know, I knew things were still horribly wrong. I was still, you know, in constant nerve pain. I was barely really coping. I could not accept it in any way, shape or form. And I was building a business then that required me to be able to work 8 hours a day. If I wanted to make $10,000 or more a month, I needed to work minimum 8 hours a day, and I couldn't do it. You know, I could count on one hand how often I would have a 5-figure month before Empower, literally on one hand. And then I decided, well, look, maybe that's a blessing in disguise, you know, because I totally took for granted being able to work for as long as I wanted, you know, whenever I wanted. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise, because the reality is most people, when they get online, they can only work part-time. They don't have the luxury of even being able to devote 8 hours a day. They've only got 2 or 3, if they're lucky, maybe 4 hours when they come back from work. So I spent most of last year, pardon me, I'm not going to be able to sit for much longer, most of last year, trying to put systems in place that would save myself and my team time to try and make it possible to earn 5 figures a month, you know, with part-time hours. And I was unsuccessful, you know, no matter what I did. And I tried everything, I could not do it. And I remember in February, like just a month before I joined Empower, thinking I was just kidding myself. I was just kidding myself to think that there's a way to be able to make a 5-figure monthly income with part-time hours. You know, and at that time in February, I had inflamed my nerve. I felt like I was being attacked really from all sides. I was really scared. You know, I was thinking, if I don't find a solution soon, even though by no means our situation was as desperate, I guess, as it was when I was on sickness benefits, but if I didn't find a solution soon, there was only so long that we could dip into our savings. They weren't going to last forever, you know. So when I joined Empower, I had no idea that was going to be the solution, you know. I had no idea that I would be able to earn over $33,000 my first 3 months working part-time. And the reality of what I had found didn't really hit me until June. Because in June, I inflamed my nerve again. I actually caught a virus in May, inflamed my nerve in June. And what happened was, most of June, I could barely work for 3 hours. I mean, I struggled all month, okay. In fact, on the 29th of June, I'll never forget it, I ended up getting a little notification saying I got over 4,000 in commissions that week from Empower. And then an hour later, I was in my doctor's rooms getting a morphine injection. And whenever that happened before, I would be stressed out to the max. And I'd be stressed out to the max because I knew it was going to take a few days for me to settle it down back at home. I'd have to take endone every 3 hours for breakout pain to get it back under control, and I wouldn't be able to work. But this time round, that Friday, you know, I wasn't stressed out. You know, everything was okay. And it was okay because I was still getting paid. I was still getting paid because of the residual that Empower Network has. You know, because of the fact with the Empower Network, you don't have to spend, you know, countless hours on the phone to make it happen. You don't have to invest full-time hours. You don't have to be a slave to your phone. So when I got home and I took the next few days off, and by the end of June had finished, and I worked out that I had made over $33,000, and worked out more importantly that even just in June I had made over $11,000, I was just amazed, okay, because there was no way that could have happened with anything else. Nothing. There's nothing else that would have made that possible. And it's exciting, and I realised then that, you know, I could no longer bring people into the business I had been building for 15 months. And the reason why is because I know here at Empower, a newbie can come in and start making a 5-figure monthly income within months, not years, which is how long it took me and most people who are successful now. A newbie instead here in Empower can come in and, you know, earn $30,000 their first 6 months, and then start cracking $10,000 a month, you know, their 6th or 7th month. It's happened. We've got newbies that have done that. So I know of no other place that I'd want to bring a newbie in, okay? But what I didn't expect, aside from how Empower's given me a chance to support my family again the way I want to, what I never expected was how it's changed me as a person, how it's given me, my family as well, back hope, how it's given me new dreams and a new purpose, okay? Because I realised just through attending a lot of the trainings and understanding the importance of sharing your story and so many things, it's so powerful. You just wait to get a chance to go through the products if you haven't already, okay, that there are so many people like me. Here in Australia alone, there are over 15,000 people who have spinal cord injuries. This is what I have. It's a spinal cord injury, and where they can't work, you know. And there are people all over the world with various sorts of spinal cord injuries. So what I want to do is I want to use, once I guess paid off a mortgage, all that sort of stuff, is I really want to help invest in finding a cure for spinal cord injuries, to find a cure for nerve damage. Because amazingly, there is no cure at the moment. You know, I know it's incredible. It was shocking to me. People can replace hearts. Medical profession can replace hearts. They can replace lungs. But they can't do anything to fix a damaged nerve. The only option is pain management. That's it. So even when there's a cure, it would be a drug-based one. So Empower, you know, makes me see how it's possible for me to help, for me to be able to invest in research to help find a cure. And then I realised just through that how I started finding people were joining me who have all sorts of disabilities, you know, all sorts of health issues. And Empower's made me realise that I want to find those people, that they don't have to take it, that they don't have to stay on sickness benefits, they don't have to stay on disability, they don't have to, you know, feel guilty because their partner has to support them, or their significant other, or their spouse, you know. And even if someone has nerve damage like me, you know, and they can't sit and stand or walk forever, okay, that they can also make it happen too. okay? And it's going to be okay if they have it, you know, a few days they can't work or what have you. Here, you're not having to work 14, 16-hour days to make it happen. And I think what's even more amazing is it's helped me feel, because I've been housebound. You know, the reality is of my condition, I'm mainly housebound other than medical appointments. So it's helped me get in touch within our private Facebook group as well with some amazing people, you know, just some incredible people. And when I was just not long after I got started, there was like an affiliate contest like there is now. And there was going to be an event, the very first event, the Don't Be a Wussy event in June. And I couldn't believe it. I ended up getting number 14 in the affiliate contest, which meant that I qualified to attend some of the leadership training and so on. And then David sent me an email after May finished and, you know, approved his formula correct. The part-time formula works. Okay. That, you know, he'd like to see me come in earlier for the leadership thing. And I had to come clean and sort of tell him, hey, look, this is what I live with. This is my situation. And I can tell you right now, there's an event coming up now, the Fight the Forces of Evil event, that I would give anything to be able to go for. And the reality is I can't, okay? I had to suck it up. I had to suck it up, no other phrase for it, when everybody went in June and I had to stay home and hear all about it, and everybody came back and people's businesses doubled and everything else, and I had to miss out on all of that. That's a reality, okay? But if I could attend, I would, without a doubt. And all I can say that if you're with Empower Now, you're thinking about getting started, you want to attend the events. That's one of the core commitments as well, and that's just a core commitment I cannot do at the moment. But one day there will be a cure. This will not be forever, and when there is a cure, I will get to the events. But until then, if you can make it, if you're in my team or anybody's team, anybody, doesn't matter who you're with, okay, go to the events, because they themselves have been life-changing for people. I've seen it. I've seen what's happened to people who attended, have come back, their businesses have literally doubled, okay? But in the meantime, to have the opportunity, thanks to Empower, in spite of what I live with, to be able to still support my family the way I need to be able to have new dreams and a new purpose, well, frankly, to me, that's priceless. And I just want to say again, thank you, David Wood. Thank you, David Sharp. The Empower Network rocks. It's a solution for so many. And, you know, you can make your dreams come true here, and you can have your life change here too. No matter what you're dealing with, you can make it happen here, because you do not need to devote 12, 14 hours. Part-time hours is enough. And if that's all you can do for now, go for it. And it could be you, you know, in a few months' time, being blown away by how the Empower Network has changed your life. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you. And, yeah, welcome to the Empower Network. Get started if you're not already. Get down there and get started and join whomever's referred you. See you from Australia.